Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. It's an absolute pleasure to serve under your chairmanship and to bring this bill, the Employment Allocation of Tips Bill, through to committee stage. I'd like to give my sincere thanks to the Honourable Member for Watford and congratulate him on becoming a Minister. It was he who first tabled this important private members' bill and did so much work to get it to this stage. This is a groundbreaking piece of legislation that will benefit millions of workers, and I'm honoured that the Minister has asked me to sponsor this bill with government and cross-party support. This bill is all about fairness. I entered politics to be a voice for others. The hourly pay in hospitality is one of the lowest in all sectors of the UK. This bill will potentially benefit over 2 million people, 7% of workers in the UK who receive tips as part of their work, and it will ensure fairness across the board so that whether people work in 𝗕𝗵𝗹𝗀 bar in Holyhead or serve fine dining at the Gaerwen Arms, they will be treated fairly and equitably. Places in dire need of levelling up, like my constituency of Ynysmon and other coastal and rural communities, are often home to thousands of people employed in tourism and hospitality. And local employers on Anglesey include the Sandymount Hotel, Sergio's, the Shanty Cafe, the Oystercatcher, Dillon's and the 𝗀𝗽𝗂𝗱. So many to mention. I'm sure all colleagues and members here have the same story to tell. I was the first one in my family to stay on at school beyond the age of 16, and it was the hospitality sector, working in restaurants, pubs and cafes like the Mercury Cafe and 𝗕𝗵𝗍's restaurant, that helped me pay my way through sixth form and university. The tips I earned were spent on a new winter coat or a pair of warm boots. And whilst there's a drive for better hospitality career opportunities and pay being driven by the likes of Aled Jones-Griffith and his colleague Menai, jobs in these sectors are often seasonal and poorly paid. And for many workers, tips form an important part of their potential earnings, particularly in these challenging times. And while most employers do distribute tips fairly and honestly, this is not the case for everyone. This is what this bill seeks to address. I'll deal with clauses 1 to 14 together. The provisions create a legal obligation on employers to pass on tips to workers in full, and the only deductions permitted are those required or permitted under other statutory provisions such as tax law. This will promote fairness for workers and ensure they receive the tips they earn. The vast majority of customers give tips on the assumption that they will go to the workers and do not expect businesses to take a slice of this. Likewise, workers rightly expect to receive their tips in full in recognition of their hard work. The bill will also provide greater transparency for employers and workers in terms of how tips should be treated. And it will create a level playing field for businesses who will already pass on tips to workers in a fair and transparent way. Finally, consumers will have the confidence that the full value of their tips will go to workers.